Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are undertaking a pretty unique mission, actually.
Sure.
We're diving deep into a single, really intensely detailed personal progress review. It spans just 1 week, week 45 of 2024.
Okay, 1 week under the microscope.
Exactly. And look, this isn't just, a diary or a simple task list.
Right.
It feels more like a comprehensive blueprint, almost. Quantified goals for maximizing productivity, health, learning across 10 distinct areas.
10 areas, wow.
Yeah, everything from sleep cycles and what they ate to coding contributions, even building outdoor ecosystem.
Okay, that's broad.
So let's really unpack this. What can this kind of hyper-focused systemic tracking teach you, the listener, about managing goals, complex ones, and building, genuine resilience?
Well, what's fascinating to me here is that this document, it's a powerful case study. It's systemic thinking applied to everyday life.
How so?
It treats daily life not as, separate to-dos, but as this interconnected feedback loop. Managing constraints becomes just as critical as setting those big goals.
Okay.
We're going to look past just the surface numbers. We'll dig into the strategies, the adaptations they made when, setbacks happened. An injury, a mental block. That's where the real learning is.
Yeah, dealing with the curveballs.
Exactly. This is basically a masterclass in personal optimization, I think.
I completely agree. So let's start with the foundation, right? The body. We're calling this segment the optimized body.
Makes sense. Health first.
The health goals are super clear, quantitative. Get this. 7 hours of sleep daily and 5,000 walking steps daily.
Okay, specific targets. And what did the data show?
Well, straight away, there's a reality check. The rolling average for sleep, 6.57 hours a day.
Oh, close. But yeah, consistently under that 7-hour mark.
And here's where it gets really interesting strategically. The source points the finger directly at inconsistency, specifically late dinners, around 10 p.m. usually.
10 p.m. dinners impacting sleep. That tracks.
But why the late dinners? It links back to late brunches earlier in the day.
Oh, okay. So a chain reaction. Brunch pushes dinner, dinner pushes sleep back.
It's like a classic cascade failure in scheduling, isn't it? One seemingly nice social thing, brunch, ends up messing with that critical biological need.
That's key. That chain reaction brunch to dinner to sleep, it demonstrates what we could call maybe constraint visibility.
Constrained visibility. Explain that.
The person uncovered that this seemingly small choice, a late brunch, was basically putting a ceiling on their most important metric, sleep.
And they didn't just notice it.
No, exactly. They're already looking into, quote, cost-effective sleep tracking methods. They want more data. They're optimizing the feedback loop itself, not just the outcome.
Proactive. Okay, let's shift to physical activity then. That 5,000-step goal.
Right. How did that go?
Steps were mostly met, but a big constraint popped up, an external one,
Yeah.
a relapsed injury. The right foot from a fall, apparently. It caused sporadic pain on 2 days that week.
Ouch. Okay, so that throws a wrench in the works. What do you do then? When a core activity is suddenly off the table or painful?
Well, think about it. The average person might just say, okay, injured foot, no exercise this week.
Yeah, totally. Just give up for the week. But here,
They kept the fitness goals going. They pivoted immediately, switched to upper body and hand grip workouts instead.
okay, so they didn't quit. They adapted. They optimized for momentum, maybe, rather than perfect sticking to the original plan.
That distinction feels really important. Momentum over perfect adherence. That's resilience, right?
Absolutely. And they even noted needing to check out other pedometer brands. So even while dealing with the injury, they're still thinking about optimizing the tracking tools, always improving the system.
Let's look at diet now. They stuck with the 16.8 intermittent fasting.
Okay, that's 16.8. Pretty common.
Adjusted the schedule a bit because of the sleep issues, which caused some minor water weight changes, but nothing major.
Right, understandable linkage there.
But the main focus was this 2.1.1 ratio, plants, protein, carbs. How'd they manage that, especially with, life being busy?
Well, the acknowledged takeout was kind of necessary for speed. You can't always cook from scratch.
True. But takeout can wreck your nutritional goals.
Exactly. So the solution wasn't suddenly becoming a gourmet chef. It was pragmatic. Find a fast and simple pre-made meal with balanced nutrition. Integrate that.
So like a healthier takeout option they could rely on?
Pretty much. Minimum viable product for health, you could say. Prioritize speed and balance first, then fine-tune the specific meal choices later through experimenting. Remove the friction, keep it consistent.
That idea of removing friction, it leads us nicely into the next bit. Shifting from the body to the immediate environment and daily habits. Let's call it practical life hacking.
Efficiency, mental clarity stuff.
Yeah, habits focused on that. And this section, it really shows how thinking strategically about tiny tasks can lead to, well, pretty big changes over time.
Micro habits leading to macro results.
Totally. Take minimalism and decluttering. The strategy was almost laughably simple, but brilliant. On the way to the kitchen, clear one item, just one.
Wow, that's low friction.
And that tiny habit led to the big win for the week. Finally, decluttering the laundry utility area. Apparently, it had been bugging them for years.
Okay, conquering something that's been stuck for years.
Oh, great.
That's not just about the physical space. That's often overcoming a mental block, too. Huge win.
But wait a sec, I noticed something. They immediately took the old rack from that newly decluttered space and moved it to set up a new gardening workspace. So did they just shuffle the clutter problem, solved one area by potentially creating a constraint somewhere else?
That's a really good question. And yeah, if they just moved junk, I'd agree. But the key lesson they learned from the decluttering project was, quote, invest in a rack that optimizes the available space.
Ah, so they identified the real solution for the utility room, a better rack.
Exactly. They solved the utility room problem properly. And repurposing the old rack, which was still functional for gardening, that's resource leveraging.
Okay, turning a solved problem's byproduct into an input for a hobby.
Right. Decluttering success directly feeds the gardening goal. That's efficiency. It's linking systems.
All right, fair point. Let's look at cooking skills next. The goal stated is control over consumption. Makes sense.
Control, yeah.
The immediate focus seemed to be speed and health, learning simple ways to prep vegetables, finding a balanced dish they could make quickly,
Practical stuff.
and planning to switch from frying to steaming. Also exploring specific egg recipes. Soft boil, steamed, soupy eggs. It's like a targeted attack on making meal prep faster and healthier.
Systematic approach, even to eggs. Okay. Now, what about the mind? Mind exercise.
Well, the report notes the general state of mind was, quote, tranquil and composed, which is pretty impressive considering the sporadic foot pain.
That does say something about the overall system's stability, doesn't it? That resilience.
But the actual practice of meditation, it was sporadic. Sitting meditation was mostly just 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, very minimal.
And walking meditation was even less frequent, explicitly because of the foot pain again, which also meant less gardening, fewer errands.
Ah, so there it is again. The physical constraint, the foot pain, directly limiting not just a physical hobby like gardening, but also a mental practice like walking meditation.
It's all connected.
The body isn't just a container. It's like a gatekeeper for constraints. If the body has issues, the whole system feels it, slows down.
That realization really pushes us into the next area naturally, the knowledge pipeline, the intellectual, the professional goals. What were the roadblocks there?
Okay, knowledge work. So primary input was reading, specifically skimming a book called 3 Highs Control Guide.
3 highs. Sounds health-related.
Yeah, hypertension, blood sugar, blood lipids, clearly tying back to the health optimization goal.
Makes sense. But what was the obstacle here?
The big one they identified is, I think, crucial for anyone trying to learn effectively. It was the block between reading and doing something with it. Specifically, writing down my thoughts on my understanding of the reading.
Ah, the synthesis step. Consuming information is one thing, but actually internalizing it, making it usable.
Exactly. They're taking in data, but hitting a wall when it comes to translating that into knowledge they can apply or share. That conversion from passive input to active synthesis, that's often the heaviest mental lift.
And we see that reflected elsewhere, too.
Yeah, the report mentions a lack of progress on other, more technical books like Testing Elixir and Adopting Erlang. Suggests that synthesis bottleneck might be broader.
Okay, let's talk coding. Daily PR contributions to PIR. Remind us, what's PIR?
Right. PIR stands for Python, Elixir, Erlang, Rust, and Ruby.
Wow, 5 languages. Why focus on contributing across such a diverse set? Seems like a lot to juggle.
Well, I don't think it's scattershot. It feels like a deliberate professional strategy. Maintaining polyglot skills, staying relevant in the open source world, maybe?
Avoiding over-specialization.
Precisely. Touching these different ecosystems regularly keeps those skills warm. It's like insurance against becoming obsolete in one niche.
So what did these daily contributions actually look like? Were they adding major features?
Not really, according to the report. It says they're still, quote, hopping through GitHub repositories, submitting trivial typos, PRs. mostly related to pub-sub projects.
Trivial typos. That
Yeah.
sounds minor. Is that really effective?
I actually think it's strategically brilliant.
Hmm.
Think about it. Consistency over complexity.
Hmm.
Big, high-effort contributions are great, but they're sporadic. They lead to burnout, and the friction to get started again after a break is huge.
Right, the getting back into it hurdle.
Exactly. But submitting low-friction, high-frequency things, even just fixing typos, keeps the momentum going.
Mm.
It keeps them connected to the code bases, keeps that muscle memory active. They're optimizing to lower the re-entry friction.
Re-entry friction, I like that framing. Okay,
Uh,
fascinating. Now, the third output pillar, writing, documentation, communication. Goal was 2 posts per day.
Ambitious goal. How'd that go?
Well, the post count itself was low, but the major success wasn't quantity, it was groundwork, infrastructure.
Building the tools.
Yeah, they spent the week on the often unglamorous but necessary setup work, bootstrapping PostgreSQL with AdMiner using Docker Compose.
Okay, for the non-technical folks, what does that mean?
Basically, using modern tools, Docker Compose, to quickly set up the database, PostgreSQL, and the admin tool, AdMiner, that they'll need later.
So they can then publish lots of content about those peer technologies, Elixir, Erlang, Python, Rust.
Exactly. They chose Infrastructure Week over Immediate Output Week, building the pipeline, not just writing one post.
Smart long-term play. And how are they tracking ideas?
Still pretty simple, flexible, alternating between analog, like a notebook, and digital for jotting down thoughts, not letting the tool dictate the capture method.
Good. Capture should be frictionless, too.
Okay, let's move outside. Our final section, the outdoor systems. Connecting with nature, new skills, and again, how those physical constraints played out.
Right, where the physical world really imposes itself. We see adaptation here in a very tangible way.
For sure. Like, the potting process for growing plants, portulaca and others, got stopped. Why? The foot injury again?
Of course. Can't be standing and potting easily with a sore foot.
But they didn't just abandon gardening, they switched tasks. Resumed seed germination projects instead.
Adaptation over abandonment. Found the lower effort alternative that still moved the goal forward. Classic optimization move.
And this ties straight back to that decluttering discussion, doesn't it?
How so?
That fourth gardening workspace, it was set up immediately using that repurposed rack from the laundry area.
Yes, the resource leveraging we talked about.
Yeah.
Making space work for them.
But as you pointed out earlier, there was an immediate environmental constraint they recognized.
Right, the new spot didn't have great direct sunlight.
And they didn't fight it. They immediately mapped that constraint low light to what the space could be used for.
Seed germination, cutting propagation, things that don't need intense light initially.
Exactly. Smart resource allocation, letting the environment dictate the type of project, not trying to force something unsuitable.
Yeah, and we also see a note about lack of progress on researching micropropagation. Suggests they prioritize getting something functional set up first, even if it wasn't the most advanced technique. Action over perfection.
Okay, a couple more outdoor goals. Fish keeping. What's happening there?
It seems like it's a bit stuck. Still trying to figure out how to declutter a specific yellow-blue rack, which sounds like it's holding up the setup.
But the goal itself is very systematic, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. They're researching the right fish and plant species to create a, get this, minimum maintenance ecosystem in their outdoor containers, their ponds.
Minimum maintenance. So applying the same low-friction, self-optimizing principles to their fish tank or pond.
Exactly. They want a closed, resilient system that needs low input. It mirrors everything else, low-friction habits, autonomous systems. It's a consistent philosophy.
And the final goal mentioned, photography. Where's that at?
That one seems stuck in the investigation phase, still trying to find the right tools, specifically a microscope for macro photography.
So a reminder that not everything can move forward all at once. You have to accept some constraints. Some things stay on the back burner.
Absolutely. Resource allocation includes time and focus. You can't optimize everything simultaneously.
So let's pull back. We've gone through the body, habits, knowledge work, outdoor systems. What does this all mean for you, the listener? If we summarize the big pattern from this Week 45 review, what really stands out?
For me, it's the profound level of integration. This isn't 10 separate shopping lists. It's truly a living system.
Yeah.
Think about it. Physical health directly impacts project speed, mental practices. Decluttering one space, the laundry room, immediately provides the key component, the rack, for a totally different hobby, gardening.
One area feeds the next.
Exactly. Optimizing one part gives you leverage somewhere else. This whole document this week, it just screams that knowledge, goals, habits, that most valuable when you see them as an applied, interconnected system.
Absolutely. And I think this report shows that progress, well, it's definitely not always linear, especially when something like a relapsed injury hits you.
Right, setbacks are inevitable.
But what seems to guarantee forward movement, or at least stability, is that consistency. Consistency in tracking, yes, but crucially, consistency in adapting.
Adapting is key.
This person kept their composure, kept output going across multiple areas by actively managing the constraints, not just being dictated to by them.
They played the long game.
Yeah.
Optimized for resilience, not just short-term wins.
So as we wrap up, here's maybe a final thought for you to consider. This whole structured approach, it really highlights that the toughest step often isn't starting something. It's not even the learning part, like skimming that 3 Highs book or reading Testing Elixir.
No, the real challenge.
It's bridging that gap, right?
Yeah.
Between the passive input, the learning, and producing useful, actionable output. Making something with it, writing down those thoughts.
That synthesis gap.
Yeah. So the question for you is, what specific project in your own life right now is maybe stuck in that gap, bottlenecked at that critical transition from just learning to actually synthesizing, creating, doing? Because that's the space where the real leverage is found.
Something to think about.
Definitely. That's all for this deep dive.